Hi everybody, it's Dave from Wing Chun Mind Force. Carrying on with my series about Chum Kiu, tonight I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that will help you in practicing your pivoting. As I've spoken of in the previous videos, in Chum Kiu we're taking Sul Nim Dao, the state of the body, the movements of the arms, and we're pivoting and we're stepping. And you can really, even though the form has us stepping in one direction, when you're practicing Wing Chun, you don't have to just move in the direction that you do in the forms. You can free form and play around with it, so there's nothing to stop you stepping in different directions and pivoting, moving around, just becoming really at home with it. So the things I'm going to show you about Chum Kiu pivoting, practical measures that my teachers taught me and that really helped me a lot, particularly in finding the center line and getting a feeling of free, sort of even motion over your center line. Okay, this rather arcane device is called a mirror, and I'm sure everyone has one somewhere. Every good Wing Chun Kwun should have a mirror. They're extremely handy, and it's one of the first things I learnt when I started out, to stand and do Sul Nim Dao in the mirror. And I also use the mirror practicing the other forms at times to help me with different aspects of practicing my Wing Chun. But this episode I want to show you a very simple thing that's very handy, and simply just get yourself a whiteboard marker and a mirror, and then go to your mirror, mark a nice straightish line on it. You can see that there, and if you're really serious you can get a ruler and make it absolutely straight. I think the main thing is that you've just got a line that you can center your body on, and then you just line yourself up so that line represents your center line, and then you just pivot. Okay, so the idea is you want your body to stay as still as possible, and you have that imaginary center line through the top of your head down to the middle of your feet, and you just pivot round that line. And it's a great tool because I can see myself just slightly wobbling, so I adjust that. I adjust and calibrate, you might say. But you can actually feel your center line when you do it. So you just keep that line in your center as you pivot, and it's a great training device. And as I've said, use nice soft shoes, use a shiny floor. The slipperier the better, I reckon. And practice this a lot. This is the sort of training you do when you're not just doing the forms, but you can do this by yourself, but it's like, exercises for Wing Chun. You're practicing your sense of center and your sense of stillness over your center. And I'll now show you another one, a very similar sort of idea, but I found it very helpful. Okay, what I have here is not a weird bondage device, but it's actually just a skipping rope. And I've tied it around my knees. I'm into my normal Wing Chun standing, and I put it around my knees, and it comes out to the front here, to the point where your hands come, which is basically, that's our sort of fighting distance and closer, but that's where the wedge shape goes to. And the point of this is just simply, as you pivot, you keep that on your center. You keep that in the same place, and it's a way to train that feeling of your arms being moved by your body rather than vice versa, and always having that wedge shape center line wherever you point it. So the center line's not just that. If somebody's coming from me here, my wedge goes that way, even if I'm facing this way. But this just for pivoting, feeling your center line, doing the same thing I did around the mirror. This can help. Just play around with it and get the feel. Obviously the form is also teaching this, but this is just something that I found handy that I've shown. Right, now, this is the last one of the practice exercises which you need a partner for. This is an oldie but a goodie, and in the early days of practicing Wing Chun, this was always a bit of a mountain to climb to be able to do this properly, because it really tests you out. So I'll just show you how it works and how it doesn't work and talk you through what's going on. So basically my partner here, he's going to resist me, and I'm just going to pivot. So just let me go for a sec. So I'm just going to be pivoting like that. Of course you can do it the other way. So I just want to pivot, and I want to be like one body. I don't want to be breaking, I don't want to be twisting the shoulders and leaving my hips behind. You want to have it all connected, your head, your shoulders, your hips, your knees and your legs. And in Bill G we start to do that, move independently, but that's a bit more advanced to be able to do that against strong force. You've got to go through this, learn to get this thing going. So in Chum Kiu we're always turning as one solid thing. The shoulders and the hips are always together. So it's basically the Sil Dao body, and you're just moving that body around your centre line. In Bill G, as I said, we actually twist right through, but that's another subject we'll get onto. So Johnny's going to resist me. So I'm turning this way, so he's going to hold me behind the shoulder there and in the front of my chest. And I get him to stay off my shoulder joint because there's a lot of pressure in this. When you do it right, you don't feel it so much, but it can really dig into your shoulder, and if you're an old geezer like me, try not to injure yourself for the sake of practice. So hold me strong. So if I'll do it the wrong way first, okay? So I start to move, I feel his pressure, and I'm like, can you do it a bit harder? Alright, so that's good, that's good. So here, let go. So I'm just using upper body strength. I'm trying to fight him with my shoulders, which is the normal thing to do. That's what 99% of us would do in this situation. Somebody gets a hold of you, you use your upper body strength. Whereas in Wing Chun, using the internal mind, the mind force idea, do it again, get a hold of me. That's it. So I just relax, I feel my centre, I start to turn, I feel his force there. Now, just make it a bit harder, that's it. You just try to hold me, mate. That's better. Alright, so he's having a bit of a trouble holding on to me. He's still a young fella, but yeah, if he was, Johnny was just a bit more of a Brutus like me. I had this wonderful partner a couple of weeks ago, a big ex-English soldier. If anything, he's bigger than me. And it was a real pleasure working with him because he was like a flaming rock. And I was very happy that I was able to overcome. He's given me everything he could, including the best of his Wing Chun relaxed force. I was still able to overcome it. At first I couldn't, and then I worked my way around it. But Johnny's a strong fella. What did you feel when I was turning?
Pushing me.
That it was pushing you?
Yeah.
Because essentially what I'm doing is I'm turning from here. Like, you can think of turning in your belly button, or like inside, turning your centre. But I've found that if I just mentally think I'm locking my shoulders to my hips and then turn the hips, that works really well. And as you do it more often, you start to refine it and go more into the centre. You actually want to be turning a little point in your centre, because when we do Bill G, we sort of do everything from that little point, not just this way, but all different directions, and there's whirlpool effect where it sort of comes into the centre and comes out. It's extremely interesting stuff. Just do it again, mate. It's the last time, so I'll be pretty strong. So I just relax. I feel like I become part of him, and instead of fighting him, I just turn. So that's the idea. I'll do more of this. I'm going to see if once this COVID nonsense is over, I'm hoping that I can get a few of my Kung Fu buddies who've got lots of years to come and make videos with me. This big fella, I'm going to see if I can get him down, because when you see him you'll realise that, you know, I'm just not using all his strength, because he's obviously can match me muscle for muscle. But the essence of that is just relax, feel yourself connected, feel your hips and your shoulders connected, your head's relaxed, and turn from down here. And don't break the body, don't disconnect it, just keep it as one thing and just turn that as one unit. And Bob's your uncle. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you next episode.
I slid out very quietly.
Yes, nobody noticed except for